The viewers on this channel who send me stories are so patient. This happens about once a month or so. Somebody will send me a story and they say, Colin, did you see that story? Yeah, I saw it. In this case, it was a story about a jogger getting the hell beat out of him on a trail in suburban Washington, D.C. called the W&OD Trail. What's it called? The Washington and Old Dominion Trail, something like that. Anyway, this is an old time viewer, right? And so I said, listen, I already did that story. I said, Colin, are you sure I didn't see it? So he went back and looked. Because Colin, I don't think you did that story. I just did it. I did it like a week or two ago. A guy jogging on the W&OD, coming home from work on the W&OD Trail, gets set upon by a large group of black people. They beat the hell out of him, put him in the hospital, almost kill him, break a lot of bones in his face. You're looking at him. That guy. The viewer wrote back very patiently and said, no, Colin, I think this is a different story. They were right. And it wasn't just one story. It was two stories.
A woman attacked on a popular trail in Loudoun County. The victim says she was grabbed and nearly sexually assaulted along the W&OD Trail. But fortunately, she says a cyclist showed up and scared her attackers away. Now, an active search for the suspects is underway as police tell us they're stepping up their patrols in the area. Tom Rousey live with the investigation happening now. Tom, what's the latest?
Well, Leon, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office tells me this attack happened right near these three white lines you see on the trail here. Now, if you look behind me, it may look like I'm on a remote part of the trail, but that's not the case at all. If you walk this way, just 50 feet down the path there, that is a major road. Those who use this section of the Washington and Old Dominion Trail are not used to hearing things like this.
This neighborhood is pretty safe. And you see a lot of runners and bikers on this trail.
The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office says on Tuesday, a woman in her early 30s told them about an incident last Wednesday. She said around 8:30 at night, two men came out of the woods, pulled at her, and began attacking her. She says they attempted to sexually assault her, but a bicyclist came by and the men fled.
It's scary because I live not even half a mile from here, and I do this run every time I run.
This happened close to busy South Sterling Boulevard with apartments, homes, and a Hindu temple right nearby. The W&OD Trail runs through 45 miles of Northern Virginia. It's considered safe by many, but women do have stories.
I've had one bad experience on this trail so far. There was sort of somebody on a cycle following me.
I had somebody make a sound. I looked up, and it was a man with his pants down and dangling his privates at me.
As authorities hunt the suspects, they're urging trail users to go in groups and stay alert.
I want to keep it safe. I want to keep being on here. It's a beautiful trail. It's amazing to run on.
Now, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office asked me to tell folks that technically this trail is just like a park in that it closes when it gets dark. They're asking folks not to use it after dark. They say it's definitely a much safer place to be during the daylight hours.
5, another woman attacked on a popular running trail, the second in a week. This morning, a man carrying a box cutter confronted a woman along the W&OD Trail in Leesburg. Tonight, a break in that case and new police composite sketch. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Jeff Goldberg is live in Leesburg tonight on the story for us. Jeff, the intended victim today wasn't just any runner, right? Tell us about it.
That's right, Leon. This was an off-duty sheriff's deputy for the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office going for a morning run here in a very popular section of the W&OD Trail, just a couple of blocks from downtown Leesburg. We're told that physically she was unharmed, thankfully, but emotionally she's a bit shaken. If there is a runner who knows this section of the W&OD Trail well, it is Sarah Erskine Bailey.
I run this trail every day, and I generally feel safe.
We told Erskine Bailey, who's training for a marathon, about the attempted assault that happened this morning in the Curry's Landing section in Leesburg.
Literally right in here.
Police say an off-duty Loudoun County Sheriff's deputy, a woman in her early 30s, was jogging on the trail at 6:30 a.m. when a man approached her displaying what appeared to be a box cutter. The woman took off, and so did the suspect.
I'm actually really frightened by that. It's going to make me carry some protection, for sure.
Such as?
Mace, boot knife, something.
The jogger, who was unharmed, called 911 immediately. Leesburg police responded along with the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office and a helicopter unit from Fairfax County. But no sign of the suspect, who's described as being in his late 40s, early 50s, 6'1", 6'2", weighing about 220 pounds.
We'll step up patrols in the general area.
Leesburg Police Lieutenant Jeff Dubé says authorities do not believe this incident is connected to an attempted sexual assault along the W&OD trail last week. That one happening in Sterling and at night.
Absolutely, it's concerning, regardless of where it occurred, either in town or outside of town.
So it's frightening. Will that keep me off the trail? I doubt it.
Kristen Bendine will keep running too, but never alone.
Not safe. Not safe. Wish I could say it is, but I don't think it is.
No surveillance cameras in this area, so police really trying to get out this sketch to the public to try and catch this suspect. They also really want to remind runners to be safe out here. Run in pairs if you can. Carry a cell phone and try to keep the earbuds out of at least one ear to hear what's going on around you.
And here's a link to another story that happened a couple of months ago. By my count, that's at least 4 in 4 months on a trail where reporters insist is safe because nothing ever happens there. Were you listening to the reporter's advice on how to stay safe on these trails? I mean, it's amazing how much stuff we hear on the news that is absolutely not true, or if you do it, you will be putting yourself in harm's way. The old earbuds thing, stay aware. Okay, that doesn't work, okay? I mean, if that's the level you're going to operate on, you're probably better not going jogging there. If you want to be safe when you're running or jogging, you're going to need a weapon. I don't care if it's a can of pepper spray, a dog, a knife, or if you have a gun, a permit, carry a concealed weapon, carry a gun. But if you want to stay safe, pay attention to the news. When we see the people who are committing all these crimes, almost all of them are part of the catch and release program. They've been in the system, they've been caught, they've been convicted of some nasty business, usually pled down from this nasty business to something that seems a lot more mild. Then all of a sudden they're back out on the streets. And the people on TV are going, wow, we've never seen anything like this here before. Not on the W&OD trail. If you go to the link that I'm going to post about the story I did on the first guy, we saw the guy in the hospital with the big head bandage and everything. I mean, this wasn't just a robbery. This was an assault at the highest level, that the black people that were assaulting this older white dude, they were having a lot of fun during the course of this assault. So he's lucky to be alive. And also during that story, I kind of remind you of all the other stories we've done in Washington, D.C. on hiking and biking trails in Washington, D.C. There's the Metro Branch Trail going from Union Station out to Maryland. That's just like a gauntlet. When you're on that trail, there are times when it's a gauntlet, and it runs in streaks. Okay, so the cops come out for a while, the cops disappear, the fellas come back, and all of a sudden a dozen people are attacked and robbed and knocked off their bike, harassed, threatened. We included one story in the story about the guy with the head bandage in the link. There's one guy who had just come back to the United States from Thailand. So he's walking on the trail as happy as can be, skipping along, right? He's down with the cause, meets up some of the fellas. Well, the fellas want a piece of him. So he takes off, comes up against a fence he cannot get over. They beat the hell out of him. So he posts a big long post on Reddit, which I reproduced, where he's going, hey, what's up with the violence on me? I'm down with the cause. What do you think, just because I'm white, I'm Mitt Romney or Donald Trump? No, why don't you attack them? I'm down with the cause. I'm one of the people who believes that black people are victims of white racism all the time for no reason whatsoever. Why did you do that to me? Another good example of just because you're down with the cause, that does not mean the cause is going to be down with you. And for some of our newer viewers, this isn't just this trail in Washington, D.C. or that trail in Washington, D.C. We document black violence against white. And a lot of times when I say white, I just mean non-black. So if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, Colin, that was an Asian jogger," I don't want to hear that. We document a lot of violence on hiking and biking trails against hikers and bikers all over the country. There was one case out in, I think it was Portland, Oregon, where this was happening all the time. I mean, these members of this bicycling club were getting the hell beat out of them. They were getting knocked off their bikes, shattering their teeth, the whole thing. Women. The head of the hiking and biking club said, "Well, we have to admit, our sport is not very inclusive. So maybe that's one of the reasons that black people are attacking people on bikes so much." I mean, I documented this, and don't make the black kids angry. And if I didn't see the article, if I didn't put in the link, I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't expect you to believe it either. Yeah, that's the level we're on here. This stuff is so ridiculous, so literally unbelievable. I don't expect anybody to believe anything unless I show it to them. And we document this all over the country. I mean, there's just down the road in Raleigh at the, I think it's called the American Tobacco Trail. There were dozens of those, like within a 2-year period. Every time the cop would come out and go, "We're not going to take that nonsense. Not on my watch." The standard stuff. Hikers and bikers are such easy targets for black people. I'm thinking of 2 stories in Baltimore. One guy had one of those go cams on his helmet. This was in the early stages. He's, cruising around Baltimore, happy as can be, coming home from work in the evening. All of a sudden, he's surrounded by 10 or 20 black people taunting, threatening. They knock him off his bike. They're laughing. It's like they're having a great old time. He got out alive. I mean, then just, wasn't that long ago, another guy new to Baltimore thought he could do the same thing. Thought he could get on his bike, drive around, go to work, come home. "Hey, I'm down with the cause." They killed him. They just pulled him off his bike and killed him. So that's kind of the extreme case of what's happening to hikers and bikers all over the country. How the people, the victims, often are kind of unwilling to really confront this pattern of black on white violence that happens on hiking and biking trails, because they'd much rather spend time with hikers and bikers in their little clubs all over the country contemplating a different strategy. They're not really that interested in bringing these people to justice. They're a lot more interested in figuring out how not to make the black kids angry.